Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I'm here with my guru and mentor, Visti Larsen. Thank you for being with us, Visti.
My pleasure, thank you.
And there's one topic that I wanted to talk about, and I know you've done some writing on this, and I have seen on the topic of combustion, Astangata, when a planet is combust, it takes on that avasta of being kopa, of being frustrated, and but in terms of looking at the Jataka, looking at the natal chart and determining how that is going to play out. So we say that, the signification of what's being combusted becomes purified. But what does that mean, and how does it apply specifically in the context of the native? Do we look at house rulerships, or like how can we tie that together and make an intelligent observation about a person's chart when a planet becomes combust?
Yeah, good question. So Astangata. My Guruji taught me that, Visti, you should not call it combustion, because combustion implies that it is burning. And there's a word for that, that's dagda. That's not Astangata. Asta means it's setting. The Western term for it, setting, grahas when they're setting, when are they rising, when are they setting. So that comes in at this stage. It's setting. It's a setting as if it's going into the sunset and you will not see it again. It comes under the category of reading the planetary placements vis-a-vis the sun's position, where in which at certain positions the planet looks as if it is having most light from the sun's position, and then some are having no light because you can't see them because they're hiding behind the sun. So when we talk about retrogression, for example, retrogression usually implies that the graha, for most of the planets, they're having most light. And then when they come close to the sun, that light fades as they hide behind the sun, and the sun eclipses that light. So we will say if the graha is not visible in the sky, it is Asta, setting. It is Astangata, it could be behind the sun or shielded from view. Okay? And as a result of that, because of that, what's happening is it has escaped the person's life. It's not available. Okay? It's not available. So why Guruji will say that it is considered lupta. It is being hidden. It is run away, if you will. It's not available. And this is a dilemma, because if, let's say, a planet is Astangata, then you are not able to access it. Everybody tells you it's there, but you're not able to access it here in front of you physically. All right? And that causes some torment. You are not able to access a one whole karaka. You're supposed to have 9 karakas. One of them, and each of these are karakas. Kara means to do. Karaka, the one who does. So what are they doing? The grahas are karaka. They're working on behalf of who? They're the hand of who? They're the hand of God. So there are 9 hands, you can say, of God moving through the chart. 10 if you add the lagna, as if you want to consider it a karaka. Okay? So these are the hands of God. So imagine Venus, the hand of God in relationships, is not available to you. Wow. Okay? And every graha is like you. All right? We see, when at one point we would talk Ashtaka Varga, then Parashara says 9th from sun is father. He didn't say sun is father. He said 9th from sun is father. Why did he say that? Because you are the son when it comes to father, and the 9th from sun is your interaction with the father. So what you are experiencing is the karaka. And the house from the karaka is the interaction with that person. So Mars is you when it comes to siblings. Jupiter is you when it comes to kids. Venus is you when it comes to relationships. Saturn is you when it comes to dealing with difficult diseases. All right? And so when a karaka is lost from sight, the you part of that equation is not there. So if you are not able to have Venus in your life, that means even if you meet the spouse and get married to the spouse, you are not going to be having that deep emotional satisfaction from relationships. Some will say, grace you, congratulations. You are not going to behave like an insane person in relationships. Congrats. That emotion is not available to you. Congrats. You should love the partner, not be running after their skirt all the time. Okay? You should have more moon, less Venus. That's what Venus does. He gives you the passion to, engage in a relationship. So some people say Venus combust is actually, or Astangata. I use the right term, right? I have to unlearn the combust term. So Venus is Astangata. Some people say, oh, that's a blessing. Congrats. In the Vedic tradition, I've heard people say, oh, that means the person is not a Rakshasa. Because the further away sun is from Venus, the more crazy they behave in relationships. The more attached they are. The more that Venus has been shaved a bit, no hair, looks like a monk like everybody else on the street, more androgynous, if you will, then the less passionate you're about that Venus. It saves you a bunch, maybe. Mm-hmm. But it's still a problem because you're not accessing that graha properly. Okay? Venus is not the only important for your relationship life. Venus is very important for that person who will take care and nurse you when you're ill. Venus is the power of the Mrityunjaya which enters you. It is, if we say moon is salt water, then Venus is fresh water. I don't know any human beings who drink salt water and live very long if they do that exclusively. They need fresh water also, sweet water. Okay? So that Venus is that fresh water. Let's say I tell you have difficulty accessing that. You're going to have some problem with your health at some point in time. We say, oh, start dwelling on the issues which are related to kidneys. Those will be the problem. Okay? Lymphatic system, that's the problem. So we need other supporting factors. Thankfully, it's not just a graha. You need two other things to look at. But the idea is that when a graha is Astangata, it's not available properly. You're not accessing it properly. So if you are having a graha Astangata and its dasha is on, the dasha is you, right? So if your dasha is Astangata, you feel as if you are not able to function properly because what is supposed to carry you through the dasha is not available. The one who's supposed to carry the vehicle, the dasha is like a vehicle. It picks up you and say, we're going here. It's Astangata. The one who picks you up didn't even show up at the bus stop. The bus didn't come. You're standing there waiting. When does my life start? Is it going to come now? Is it going to happen? It's Astangata. It didn't come. If it showed up, there's no bus driver. You don't know where you're going. Lost. Not available. Okay? Come back later. Okay? On holiday. See you later. Next life. Problem. The Astangata lets up at the age, the first old age of the sun, 50. At 50, your life starts. You waited till 50, I'm sorry. My goodness, what a terrible joke to play on a person. At 50, your life started. Of course, it depends on which planet we're talking about. Maybe you don't mind that graha waits until 50 before it shows up. Okay? Yes, it's an enemy. He will show up at 50. Ah, thank God. The disease doesn't show up till 50. I had many years before 50. Thank God. All right? So that graha is not going to show up till that age. Okay? It's possible in certain situations that it's the opposite. It was there your whole life and it left you at 50. That's due to an exception. But you get the idea. 50 is the age where the turning point is. So that's Astangata. Now, the experience is always terrible if you're running the dasha of a planet in Astangata. So if you're running a dasha of a planet in Astangata, you say, Visti, it's okay, I'm fine. Then I say, maybe you should recheck your dasha calculation. Maybe you're not using the right dasha system for your life to depict your life events. Okay? What you are seeing in your life If it cannot, the dasha cannot depict it, you are not right using the right dasha, or there's something you don't know about the dasha. Now, then we say, okay, but wait. What if, I'm going to give the first exception for Astangata. What if the graha is already in one of these major sun yogas? What is a major sun yoga? Sun yogas are spiritual yogas. Okay? So it could be a yoga we call sadhu yoga, pravraja yoga. Pravraja. What is pravraja yoga? 4 planets joined. Now, 4 out of 7. So I'm excluding the nodes here. If nodes are included, it's 5 out of 7. Okay? 5 out of 9, excuse me. So more than 50% of the chart has to be in one sign. Okay? But stick to the 4 planet to begin with. Minimum 4 planets joined in a sign. Okay? 2 couples are occupying the house. They can't agree. They want 2 separate bathrooms. They start breaking the house. You know, that's how it works. Yes. So they want two separate houses. That one sign is now going to become 2 signs. That's going to cause a problem. Conflicts. So then what happens over here? So when this happens, the sign is breaking apart when 4 planets join. The sign is going to start working against you. It's causing a dilemma. It cannot bear the weight of these 4 grahas. Or if there are 5, it gets even worse. 6, my God, what's happening? It's too much. In such a case, Astangata is highly welcome. Please have one of them, Astangata. Oh, one is not available. Okay, problem solved. Problem solved. Thank you. We got out of it. 2 planets. Oh, Hare Krishna. You know, bless you. Okay? All the 3 planets, 1 graha is the only one saying, I'm going to hang around here. The other 3 are saying, we left. You know, we put our name on the door, but we don't live there. Only 1 person there, managing the sign alone, undisturbed, can work in peace. Okay, 2 we can handle. 3 we are wondering what's happening. 4 finished, no work is happening. Okay, disturbed. So that's what's going on in Astangata. It can relieve a problem if there is a problem already. All right? In case of 4 planet yogas, excuse me, if you have a planet in a curse, it's Astangata, is highly unwelcome. Highly unwelcome. It's very disturbing. Because the sun will never hurt wealth, we say the wealth houses, 2nd house, 5th house, 9th house, 11th house, their lords don't really suffer financially from Astangata. They don't suffer. Okay? So it doesn't cause a problem to finances. It can cause a problem too, in case of 5th and 9th, to kids and father, right? But for other topics of the house of finances, specifically, we are not worried. For everything else, it can still be a problem. Now, what is the solution? Because when you are going through this experience that you cannot get the graha to function in your life, it feels as if you're going through life and you're being given a serious shave. You're being told, look, you're not part of society. You're going to be a monk in the world. You know, you held a job, they're not paying you a paycheck. Okay, it's seriously embarrassing, actually. It's very embarrassing, you know. So then you feel as if you've been given a good shave. That androgynous look is also applied to your look. You know, Visti has sun on the ascendant, he's losing his hair. So that's part of that. That's sun. He's doing it. He's doing some Astangata there. The hair will not be available. So that's what's going on. And because of this experience, this embarrassment, it's an embarrassment really what's happening. You want to come out of the Astangata. You want a remedy for it. You want a relief. You want a cushion at least. So then what you do is you start looking for, is the Lord of that sign where the Astangata is happening, is that well placed? Do that remedy. It's in a house. Is the Karaka of that house well placed? Do that remedy. You'll get out of it. Okay? If not, you're really in trouble. It's not easy to come out. You need to do some worship of Shiva to come out. Because Shiva has simply decided that will not exist. That can make it feel frustrating. Kopa, ati kopa. Yes, that graha is not able to function properly. That's Astangata. Does it answer your question? What do you say, Joey?
It does. It does. I'm sure that we could probably spend another 5 hours on this topic if I really got in and picked your brain.
The biggest worry is that when a planet is Astangata, unlike other planets, that graha will behave Astangata in every single divisional chart as well. Even though it happened in Rashi chart, it's in every chart it's continuing its experience.
Interesting. Okay.
So you might be looking at something happening in a divisional chart on that planet and you're not, why is it behaving poorly? And you go back and see, oh, it is Astangata because of its position in the Rashi vis-a-vis the sun.
Right.
That's a dilemma. So Parashara says, he actually states this, when he talks about the word is Vaisheshikam Shabala. Okay, Vaisheshikamshas. Then he says if the planet is Astangata, then it doesn't matter where it is in the divisional charts, it's out, gone. Okay, somebody might argue, oh Visti, we have to recalculate the degrees in the divisional charts of the planets. So maybe in the Navamsha, it's not as if those 3 degrees 20 minutes became 30 degrees, and that's a whole sign. And then they draw this new chart, and then the new spans between the planets and positions. And they say, no, you have to draw a new chart like that. There's nothing in any of the traditions that ever suggest that. No, should not do that. What happens in Rashi can continue in the Vargas when it comes to the positions such as Aticharagati, Astangata, Vakri. It's in all divisional charts it functions.
Interesting. Wow. Okay. So that's a lot of new information. The other follow-up question that I said, you'd mentioned that the 2nd and 11th houses, the houses related to wealth, would not be taken out by Astangata.
Let's just use a more general view of that, and that is houses related to wealth do not suffer.
Do not suffer. Okay.
Topics related to wealth do not suffer.
What about the exception, or maybe not an exception? So when we're looking, the sun is the karaka for resources.
Yes.
But when we're looking at Mercury specifically in the context of, like I'm thinking in my example, Simhalagna, Mercury is never too far away from the sun.
Yep.
Now, mind you, there is the orb of combustion that we have to keep into account as well. But then how does that play out for the Naisargika karakas of Mercury? Like which functions of Mercury do become combust? Like how does that play out? Like I'm thinking specifically in the context of Simhalagna, where Mercury rules 2nd and 11th. Sorry, this is a very specific function or example.
So again, I can't speak ill of the person's finances, but maybe the person has some concerns regarding their social circle.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Yes. So it would be the other Naisargika or Nityakarkas.
Family, things like that. Also, which group they belong to. Mercury's Karaka for career, it might be causing a concern. But I will not rely on just a karaka to decide what's happening, because yes, I need God to tell me there's something wrong, but then I need the bhavas which are related to that activity to also fail. I need 2 out of 3 problems. Sign, Lord, karaka. If the sign and Lord are fine, then I don't have to worry about the karaka.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That actually answers my question directly, and helps me to understand that a little bit more. So thank you for that. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure, of course. Anytime. Namaste.